Hello. Now, if you're a follower of my Instagram, you will have probably seen this image. It's unremarkable, let's say, but it's my profile picture, and the camera in it is the source of today's video's topic. Yes, in this episode of Vintage Tech Tuesday, we will be reviewing this. It's the Canon 500n from 1996. So let's set the scene. The year is 1996. The Spice Girls are topping the charts with the most famous song, and I'll be honest, the only song I can name of theirs, "Want to Be," even though it's not spelt grammatically correct, but we'll gloss over that. It was the 90s. Things were radical. And weirdly, the 90s have come back into fashion, which is why you can pick up one of these now. No, I'm not saying this is new, I'm just saying you can pick one of these up and look, you'll be proper cool because you'll have a 90s camera that does 35mm film, obviously, because digital cameras were very early on. Like, I'm pretty sure I could only name the Sony Mavica, and that used floppy disks to save digital images rather than your good old-fashioned film. So that does mean that this is your old standard traditional SLR, not like the DSLR that I'm filming this on. So as always, it's the SLR stands for single lens reflex, and as you can see inside, there's a single lens, and the reflex refers to the mirror, which displays what the lens can see. So, Sam, you may be asking, what makes this so special, and why did you choose this over all the other classic SLRs? And I'll tell you some reasons behind it. Now, I use a Canon camera. This is also a Canon camera, and I'm not just being a Canon boy. There's method to my madness, and it's the fact that this lens will fit on any modern Canon camera, as it's the EF mount, and all my lenses will also, for this camera, will also fit, apart from obviously my EFS lenses, because EFS wasn't a standard when this came out. EFS came out in 2001, this was 1996, a few years before, and even longer before me. Now, I'll be honest, compared to this camera, this is so much more simpler. Literally, all you have on the top is the wheel to select what mode you want to be in, which all the modes are the same, apart from it's got ADEP, which, I'll be honest, I still don't get. I'm pretty sure it's just aperture priority mode, but for like thick people. I'm not entirely sure. You have to set the ISO manually, which is a bit odd because it has got DX encoding on it, so it can read DX films, but it won't set its ISO automatically, so you have to do that yourself, and it'll go all the way up to 6400. So you've got a nice bit of flexibility, although I've never seen a film that goes up to 6400 before, but we'll gloss over that. It even goes down to ISO 6. I mean, if you can find an ISO 6 film, I'll be glad to pay a minor premium. Not that I do shoot much film nowadays, but it's still something that I enjoy. Now, it's got the function button on it, so you have to put it back into, like, say, auto, and the function will let you turn red eye on and off. It'll allow you to change if there's a camera beep on, dual exposures, and all sorts. And then you've got the thing for changing the focusing display. Now, the focusing display on this camera is pretty simple. The viewfinder doesn't have a wheel on it to try and like change the actual focus on the camera. So if you've got bad eyes, bad luck. It's not the easiest thing to focus through, but to be honest, because it's a digital SLR, even though it's digitally focusing, you're pretty much going to nail it every time. I mean, it's by no means quick, but it'll do it well, if you get what I mean. Because of course these cameras with the TTL autofocus, they'll just nail it every time. In terms of batteries, now it takes two. I don't even know what these are. They're the really odd ones that like used to be used in all cameras. They're still like really available. You can get them anywhere. I got these in Asda. They're expensive, but that's because I bought Duracell lithium ions. Where does it say what they are? Oh yeah, they're the CR123s, I think. So you can still get them in Asda. And Duracell do decent ones. Now, what's special about this one is it's the one with the quartz date. So it has a clock in it, which allows you to imprint the date and time onto your picture. Unlike this one, this other model that I've got here, which is more pristine because it's literally never been used. But it doesn't have the clock on the back. It's just a flat back. I haven't actually used this one yet, so I don't actually know if it works. But I imagine it does because it's the most pristine thing I've ever owned. Now, in terms of build quality, now this is sort of where it falls flat on its face because, as you know, the 90s were, renowned for build quality. Everything in the 90s was built to last. Sense the sarcasm. Yeah, it's all plastic. Literally all of it is plastic. I think it's even plastic in here. There's like the odd metal bit where it has to be metal. And it's not great, if I'm honest, the build quality on these. But then again, what would you expect for, well, I bought this for £25, lens included. And now the lenses online go for, around 30, 40 quid. I got the whole camera and the lens, so for £23. So I got a whole lens for £23, basically half price, and a full body thrown in for free. Charity shops, so good. So yeah, don't go buying one of these for like 50 quid because I'm pretty sure the camera bodies are like £10 and then the lenses you could probably get for like cheap in a charity shop, or even if you can get the full thing in a charity shop like I got, you're going to get a good deal. Unlike on eBay where these are going for like 50 quid all in, which is a lot for what is basically a 23-year-old camera. It's not great. Now, in terms of the lenses that were thrown in with these cameras, so this is the kit lens. It's a 28 to 80 millimeter. Zoom lens. It's pretty much standard kit lens for the time. It's at the point where they'd moved away from using 50mm lenses as the kit lens, which, if I'm honest, was a bit of a daft move. I think because I think a 50mm kit lens would do more for your photography game than this, but then I suppose most of the people using these were amateurs who didn't really care about taking great pictures. They just wanted a cool SLR to take good pictures on, and to be honest, this lens will do. In terms of build quality, once again, of course, it's the 90s, so it falls flat on its face, but it's a decent lens anyway. To be honest, the optics on it I can't complain about. I filmed one or two of these videos using this lens and it's looked decent. I mean, you tell me how well it looks. I mean, whether this is in focus or not, I don't know because the screen's tiny and it's far away. But I like to think that obviously things look decent. And this lens does the job. It's nice and bright. It's not very fast because it's a kit lens, and kit lenses are not fast lenses. They are very, I think this has a maximum aperture of 3.5, which is the same as the modern kit lens that I've got on here, which arguably is not as good a lens. Like if they'd have just carried on using this lens as your kit lens, but just upgraded a bit and added like not autofocus, but silent autofocus and your image stabilization, like on this modern kit lens that's currently filming this, things would be better. And if you don't quite understand what a kit lens is, basically it's the lens that comes with the camera. Yeah, that's pretty much what that is. Now, weirdly, there's a discrepancy between the two models because this model came with this lens, although I've got the other lens on, which is an ultrasonic lens, which means it's basically silent focus, whereas this lens came with the same lens, this camera even, came with the same lens, different focusing system, so it didn't have ultrasonic on it, which, to be fair, didn't bother me that much, because it's not actually that loud. I mean, let's give it a listen. I'll just pop the batteries in this one. Oh yes, we have power. It's pretty noisy, but it's not too bad. And the thing is with these cameras is, listen, they sound like your proper old-fashioned camera, like sound effect. Like when you think of a camera sound effect, you think this. because of course it's got a mechanical, well, an automatic mechanism inside, so you'd feed your film in there and then you feed it across. Then when you close this, the film runs all the way from your actual canister into the camera, and then it works its way backwards. So when you go and get them developed, the last picture on the card is the first picture the camera took. It's really odd, but yeah, that's the way it is. And yeah, it's got all the modes. It's got automatic, obviously, portrait, landscape, macro, sport, and backlit. I think I don't know what that one is. And it's got obviously your program, your shutter priority, your aperture priority, and then your fully manual. And it's all controlled by this little LCD screen up here, which is pretty efficient, to be honest. LCD screens, they'll last for years. And then you can control obviously like your exposure compensation on the top using the wheel and the button on the bottom. And I'll be honest, right, the settings on these cameras, like when on this camera it's menus, it's all menus, whereas on this it's sort of all on this little screen, which sometimes makes life pretty difficult, because you're wanting to try and find like, how do I enable touch button focusing, and you can't find it, and I still haven't found it. Luckily the service manual is available online as a free download, so I've got that, and I'll probably have to have a look through there. Another bonus is that the hot shoe on the top will take any modern flash, so well, when I say any modern flash, I mean any Canon speedlight. So I think that about sums up this video. As I said before, be sure to check out the last video on this, the Olympus Trip 35. Make sure to do your research before you buy one of these. Don't just go off my word. What's good for me isn't good for you. I got this just because it was in a charity shop, and I thought 24 quid. Got it down to 22. Decent. I'll have that. I don't shoot much film anymore, but if you follow my Instagram, every time I do shoot film it goes on there, usually, well, the good ones anyway. And that's about it. So thank you very much for watching. Be sure to subscribe. A quick shout out to my friend. It's her birthday today, so happy birthday, Freya. Have a good one. She's got a Canon A1, I think, and that is a V-sexy camera. V-sexy indeed. It's from the 80s, so it's more classic than these. But anyway, that's it. As always, thanks for watching.